live.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pima Community College session of today's press conference. We're really excited to have you join us today. And before we get started, a couple of things. Just if you're on the Zoom call, just a reminder to please mute yourself when you're not speaking. My name is Amanda Avens, and I'm the Dean of Workforce Development at Pima Community College. We have three speakers for you today that we're really excited about for you to hear from. And afterwards, we will have question and answer time. For any reporters that are on the Zoom meeting with us, please use the chat feature or the raise your hand feature to ask those questions. And for all of you listening to us via YouTube, please use the YouTube chat feature to ask your questions. And we will be answering those at the end of the presenter's remarks. To start us off today, I'd like to introduce our Chancellor of Pima Community College, Lee Lambert, and Lee is going to be focusing on workforce training for jobs of the future today. Thank you, Lee.
Well, thank you, Amanda, and good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining our Pima chat room. So I'd like to first acknowledge and thank my team. Some of those folks are here in the room with us, but there's so many others who are not able to join us, and also want to recognize the commitment of the governing board to focusing on looking at our mission is co-equal, meaning that it's not just about transfer education to the universities and other four-year colleges, it's also about our workforce training and mission part. Now, why is that important? Because as Snap-on, one of our important multinational partners, says, what makes a nation great are makers and fixers. So we have to get back to a place in this country, as well as within the community of Southern Arizona and specifically Pima County and Tucson, Arizona, to focus on training the next generation of talent to be makers and fixers. And that is also how we restore the American dream. But what we have to keep in mind too is the reality of being a maker and fixer has been evolving quite rapidly, thanks in no large part to the advances in technology and what people are now talking about in the context of Industry 4.0. So at Pima, we've been placing a lot of emphasis on the reality that Industry 4.0 is really changing the landscape of everything that is happening in our economy, in our communities, as well as what's happening at Pima Community College. The four superpowers are no surprise, they're not countries. It's artificial intelligence, mobile technology, cloud computing, and the Internet of Things. So as we go forward into the future, you're going to see more and more conversations about those pieces and how we start to integrate them into our programs at Pima Community College. And you'll hear more about our centers of excellence, which are a critical part of how we pull all of this together going forward. But we recognize at Pima, at the end of the day, people come to us to put them in a place where they're on a pathway to a good job and career. In order to do that, we must provide the relevant programming as well as the key partnerships that bring all of that together to make sure that our citizens and residents have a great future in Southern Arizona, Pima County, City of Tucson, and throughout the state and nation. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll turn it back over to you, Amanda.
Thank you so much for your remarks, Chancellor Lambert, and we greatly appreciate the leadership that you provide. Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. DeRay, our President of Campuses and Executive Vice Chancellor for Student Experience and Workforce Development. He's going to give us an update on Centers of Excellence in Reentry.
Thank you very much, Amanda, and thank you very much, Lee, for your words. So good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning. So as Amanda said, I'm going to briefly describe three topics: how Pima responded to the pandemic over the spring and summer, what our plans are moving into the fall, and then the status of our Centers of Excellence projects. First, I'd like to acknowledge all of our faculty and staff who helped Pima Community College respond quickly to the pandemic. You know, our foremost priority has been the safety of faculty, staff, students, and our community. We also want our students to be able to remain on their education and career pathways. We know this has been a difficult time for our students. Many have reached out to us for help with access to technology and concerns about food, income, and housing insecurity. And so much of our response has been to help students address these needs. And I want to give some examples of our response, which has included converting over 2,000 courses to virtual or online modalities, distributing $5 million in CARES Act funds directly to our students, distributing additional Pima student emergency funds, distributing laptops to students, offering free Wi-Fi to students, and converting all of our student services to 24/7 virtual support. And Amanda, if you could put up our first slide. Additionally, faculty and staff work diligently to reopen specific hands-on academic programs, such as public safety, health sciences, and our high-demand career and technical education fields that require face-to-face components, such as labs and clinicals. And so starting in June, we phased in programs, including aviation and EMT and paramedic, nursing and other health fields, automotive and truck driving, computer-aided drafting, building and construction technology, automated industrial technology, law enforcement academy, dental hygiene, and many other programs. Every component of our reentry was thoughtfully and methodically planned, following social distancing guidelines, limiting the number of students and employees in classrooms, requiring students and employees to check in and check out, utilizing personal protective equipment and temperature checks, and following local, state, and CDC guidelines. I have also personally done walkthroughs of each program before it begins. Now, knowing that Arizona has seen a significant rise in COVID-19 cases since June, we have plans for fall, but remain flexible. So far, the model will be similar to what was implemented for the summer. Fall courses are scheduled to begin August 19th and will be a blend of online courses using the Pima online platform, virtual courses using a variety of teaching methodologies, and hybrid with some hands-on components for career and technical education programs like we offered this summer. We are also exploring very limited in-person student services at our downtown campus. This would potentially include appointments for advising and counseling, veteran services, financial aid, and access and disability resources. Again, with our primary focus being the health and safety of students and employees, we will follow the highest safety standards to include CDC, local, and state guidelines. Lastly, I want to provide an update on Pima's Centers of Excellence projects. For those who may not yet be familiar, there are a total of 6 centers of excellence. Applied Technology, which includes our Automotive Technology and Innovation Center, Advanced Manufacturing Center and other programs, and our Aviation Technology Center. Those are all part of our Applied Technology Center of Excellence. Also, we have a Health Professions, COE, Hospitality Leadership, Information Technology and Cybersecurity, Public Safety and Security, and the Arts. Now, the center that is closest to completion is our Center of Excellence in Applied Technology. Our new 45,000 square foot Automotive Technology and Innovation Center is on schedule for completion in December of 2020. The next slide shows renderings of our Aviation Center. We have also broken ground on the expansion of our Aviation Technology Center with support from the state of Arizona, scheduled for completion in the summer of 2021. The new center will allow us to double the number of graduates, filling a critical workforce need for our aerospace and aviation sector in Arizona. Additionally, construction will begin on the 100,000 square foot advanced manufacturing building this fall. The advanced manufacturing building will include labs for robotics and automated industrial technology, computer-aided drafting and welding, training spaces for industry partners, maker spaces, and business incubators. The advanced manufacturing building is scheduled for spring 2022 completion. And work on our other centers is ongoing and is on schedule. The centers have been designed around 3 pillars in response to the future of work: speed, convergence, and adaptability. From the onset, they were developed in partnership with industry to be flexible enough to quickly adapt to the changing workforce and industry needs. This flexibility and continuing dialogue between Pima Community College and our partners will continue to be crucial as we work to serve dislocated workers in the economic recovery. The college also has plans to expand programs as part of the Centers of Excellence. We plan to increase the number of students, fully integrate digital and mobile technology, and ensure students are trained on state-of-the-art equipment. Just one example is the EMT and paramedic programs, which are being redesigned as hybrid programs supported by virtual reality and augmented reality. Another example is automotive, which will seek to double the number of students and incorporate new autonomous, connected, electric, and shared framework, ACEs, into the curriculum to train students on new electric vehicles. The college is planning to enhance support services for students, such as childcare, digital literacy training, and student success coaching. As we move into the fall, digital literacy will be a priority for both our students and employees. Our faculty and staff have worked tirelessly to ensure the highest quality online and virtual classrooms, and it is our goal to ensure our students have the support and tools they need to be successful in this environment. At Pima Community College, we realize that the future of work is here, and we are preparing students to succeed and to thrive in this new reality. Thank you very much. Back to you, Amanda.
Thank you so much, Dr. DeRay, for those important updates. Next up, I'd like you to please welcome Dr. Ian Rourke, our Vice President of Workforce Development and Strategic Partnerships, to share with you some examples of our workforce program's responses during this challenging time.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Dr. DeRay, for that very exciting and comprehensive overview of our Centers of Excellence, and to Chancellor Lambert for the high-level overview of why our role with workforce development is so important. It's with your leadership and your support that we, the deans and the faculty, are able to carry out our mission to help rebuild Arizona's and America's workforce in the wake of the pandemic that has just occurred and is still occurring in our midst. Amanda, if you don't mind, please bringing up my slides. The context of our workforce development initiatives are really accelerated, if you will, in response to what COVID-19 has taught all of us. You heard in the main session from Chancellor Lambert about the importance of rebuilding America's workforce, and all of those executives about the importance of the community college system in Arizona to help making that happen. But we had to do so in very different ways. These changes that you see on this slide were already occurring in both working and learning in the community college workforce development space. We were already working on virtualizing what normally would take place in the classroom to be able to access it from home or on a mobile device to better support working learners. By accelerating apprenticeship and other work-based learning models, we're able to blend work-based learning and again, have better access for the working adults in our community to learning while they're at work, not separate and apart from work. And finally, recognizing that not everybody can take an entire certificate or degree as a full-time student all at the same time. So being able to modularize our curriculum so that they can stack from one credential into another, and recognizing that career progression is oftentimes not linear. Some people start in one career field and then need to migrate to another one because of an economic crisis perhaps, or some other life change. And by bringing our curriculum down to the competency level, and introducing career pathways based on stackable credentials, we are able to accommodate working learners who will experience education with multiple starts and stops. So all of this was already occurring, but as Dr. DeRay said, we needed to move and move fast whenever the pandemic hit, and that we did. And so that is why the COVID-19 crisis has really turned into an accelerant for change in these workforce development domains and practices. And with the next slide, you heard about it in the main section, the Google IT Support Professional Certificate really exemplifies everything that we've been talking about in this regard. We were working with all of Arizona's community colleges and leading the statewide implementation prior to the pandemic. But the unfortunate epic event of the pandemic taught us that we were on the right track. The Google IT Professional Support Certificate can be delivered wholly online. It can be delivered wholly as a competency-based model and be taken even as non-credit with no entry-level requirements or placement testing. And as you heard from Chancellor Lambert, it can count through prior learning assessment toward up to 2 classes in our IT and cybersecurity certificate and degree programs, should the working learners who want to experience this program decide to further pursue their certificate or degree at Pima Community College. In partnership with 7 other community college districts, we have launched across the state of Arizona in the month of June, including Pima Community College's launch on June 22nd for an initial cohort of 50 learners who are taking this program now in a 100% virtual context. Our IT faculty and our student support services are able to support these learners while they are taking this class removed from the physical location of school so that they can focus on their learning and focus on rebuilding their economic livelihood in the wake of this pandemic. Next slide, please. Chancellor Lambert discussed some of these attributes in the opening session. So just briefly, as you can see, this is a competency-based non-credit course, but it is very robust for an entry-level program. With an estimated 5-month completion time for spending 8 to 10 hours per week, learners will learn about technical support, computer networking and operating systems, system IT and IT infrastructure services, and IT security. Next slide. Additionally, the program has been crosswalked to a CompTIA industry recognized certification so that students who take Pima Community College's program, they will earn not only the opportunity to transfer credit into our certificate or degree programs, but they will also simultaneously earn not 1, but 2 industry recognized certifications. Next slide. And finally, the digital access is not only matriculated and expanded in how we deliver education, but how we connect people to jobs. And through the Google IT Professional Support Certificate Completer community, we are able to link these learners who take this program to jobs not only in Pima County, but jobs with national employers, although these jobs, many of which can be done virtually and remotely, so they can reside still in Pima County and still be here with their families and work for companies all across this country as we rebuild the economy. Next slide. But it doesn't stop there. This experience with the Google project has taught us that we can be really creative, really forward-thinking, and really flexible in terms of how we offer non-credit, but in a way that it is not terminal or an end unto itself, that it can stack into our high-quality certificates and degrees that will be offered with and through the centers of excellence. Increasingly, we are also expanding our apprenticeship models. We are leading the statewide implementation of the IRAM, or Industry Recognized Apprenticeship and Manufacturing Model, across 3 college districts: Maricopa Community College District, Central Arizona College, and Pima Community College, serving employers such as Raytheon, Boeing, Lucid, and Nikola. Our continued areas of focus for the expansion of these flexible training models, both through hybrid, virtual, and short-term training modules that end in industry recognized credentials, and as well as work-based learning, are extending into manufacturing, automotive technology, IT, construction, and public safety. We've learned a lot from the development of the Google IT certificate program, and are ready to launch at scale short-term training models that will help Pima County and Arizonan residents get back to work and get back to work as soon as it is safe to do so. Before I conclude, I have some thanks. In addition to the leadership of Chancellor Lambert, whose connectivity at the national level brought us the opportunity to implement the Google IT certificate, and Dr. DeRay's support and his leadership with the implementation of the Centers of Excellence. I'd like to thank many people, but specifically a couple of champions who helped really get the Google IT certificate off and running across the entire state, not just in Pima County, as well as our own Pima County specific implementation. I'd like to thank Dean of IT and Cybersecurity, Jim Craig, who was so invested that he even attended the student information sessions leading up to the June 22nd launch. Our Director of IT and Cybersecurity, Chris Bonhorst, who was so invested in the program, he went through it himself ahead of time so that he knew every in and out of the Google IT Professional Support Certificate. For Amanda Abens for leading the infrastructure and the team that is able to allow us to pivot and launch this at scale in non-credit. And finally, Jessica Normoyle, who on our workforce development team is not only leading the Pima grant process, but also the statewide operations of the implementation across 8 community college districts. So thank you, Jess. With these and other champions, we are here to serve our community, and we will continue to serve you better and more, and it is our honor to do so. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice President Rourke, for that great information. Now, at this point in time, we would like to take all of your questions. So again, for those of you that are on Zoom, please utilize the chat function or raise your hand to ask your question. And if you are on YouTube, please use the YouTube chat to ask your question. Okay, so it looks like, Grico, that you have a chat. So if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, you should be able to do that and ask your question. Okay. It looks like you're unmuted.
Did that go through?
Yes. Okay. So in the chat, we have what sort of job will a student with a Google IT support certificate be able to obtain?
Sure. There's actually a number of jobs and competencies that have been mapped to the certificate, but for the most part, a rough analog would be entry-level IT support or desk help, similar to what you would see perhaps at the Geek Squad level when you take those services into yourself to get your own IT device worked on, fixed, whether it's hardware or software, in this case, predominantly software. The thing to know about the certificate is that it's entry level, so it serves as a launch pad into more advanced training in the IT certificates and cybersecurity certificates that we offer at the college. But also what we've learned in implementing this is that it's not always for IT specific roles. Many individuals in small and medium-sized businesses have multiple job functions. And so this allows the opportunity for employees of medium and small sized businesses to have a basic battery of IT skill sets that allow those to be integrated into the workforce of that company so that the employer does not have to always outsource every single IT function to a third-party provider.
And can you guys hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
It's non-credit course. So what does that mean? So as a student, I'm enrolling and paying, I'm assuming some sort of tuition, but it being non-credit, does that just mean I get the certificate, but if I want to continue, then I have to enroll in a different program? Kind of walk me through what the non-credit part means.
Absolutely. So in the state of Arizona and in many other states, the issuance of college credit is bifurcated out from non-credit. And traditionally, colleges have kept those two worlds apart. So that short-term training was usually singularly the domain of non-credit, and continuance up to a degree was the domain of credit. But at Pima Community College, where and when applicable, what we're doing is taking industry recognized certifications, such as the CompTIA certification that was mentioned in the presentation, as well as the Google IT Professional Support Certificate, and translating that into the college credit so that the student has a choice. They can take the non-credit module and then immediately go to work in that entry-level position with it, but they have not lost any time or money that they paid for that training because that credit can be then applied to the entry-level coursework for their certificate or degree. So it allows for more seamless transition, short-term training into certificates and degrees.
Okay. And you mentioned that it was a 5-month completion at 8 to 10 hours a week. What is the cost of that certificate?
That is an excellent question. So we were able to lower the cost for the first cohort of individuals that were going through the program to $99 due to our partnership and the generous contributions of the Center for the Future of Arizona. So I'd like to thank Dr. Aaron Ball and his team for their contributions on that. Secondly, I'd like to highlight our partnership with Pima County, Arizona at Work and Director Arnold Palacios and his team. Through working with them, they were able to expedite the placement of this program on what is called the Eligible Training Provider List. Now, the second cohort, which is going to start in August, we do not have the scholarship or the subsidy, if you will, to lower the cost to $99. So right now, the price for that course is $500 or $499 per learner. But if the dislocated worker or other individual is eligible for that assistance through the Arizona at Work Pima County system, effectively for the student, the cost could be free to the student.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your thoughtful questions. In addition, Dean Craig added that soft skills training are built in and customer service skills are built into the Google IT cert as well. So do we have some additional questions for either Dr. DeRay, Chancellor Lambert, or Dr. Rourke? And again, just a reminder, if you are watching on YouTube, please feel free to use the YouTube chat to ask us your questions, and we will get those and relay those to the panel.
Amanda, I want to add this point of clarification for folks. So I think it was a year ago that McKinsey Global published a report that talked about the fastest growing areas of skills among certain sectors of the economy. The number one fastest growing category is the digital skills. This is why focus and commitment to IT and cybersecurity with specific emphasis on what we're talking about today becomes critical, because employees more now than ever are going to have to equip themselves with the digital skill sets in order to remain relevant in this fast-paced growing 21st century economy. It's not going to be enough, but it's going to be a critical component of their success going forward, because digital is one piece, but also those human skills, soft skills, or foundation skills. I've heard different framing of all of those pieces are equally as important. So it's not one versus the other. To be successful, you will need all of those pieces going forward.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chancellor, for that. We've had an additional question about how many credits does this program, the Google IT Cert, replace through prior learning assessment if a student does choose to continue? And I'm going to go ahead and ask Jim Craig if he can go ahead and clarify if that's 3 or 6. And Jim, you should be able to speak.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, the entire certificate covers 3 credits that is directly contributes to 2 of our associate degrees and certificate, 1 in cybersecurity and a beginning IT certificate that also contributes into our networking associate's degree.
Great. Thank you so much for that clarification and detail on that question, Jim. Do we have any additional questions from any of the attendees this morning? Do we have any additional final comments from any of our panelists today?
Amanda, I just want to encourage, particularly, those students that are graduating from high school, make sure that you really think about your future. And Pima Community College is here for you, and we really want to be part of your academic and career journey. So I encourage every high school graduate to get enrolled in post-secondary education this fall.
Well said, Dr. DeRay, well said. We've had an additional question from Dan. Can high school students enroll in the Google IT Cert?
Yes.
That was an easy and quick question. That's a great opportunity for high school students to gain skills and certifications before they graduate. And we do have a question also on YouTube about the status of the aviation expansion.
And I'll be happy to take that question. As I pointed out, we broke ground. And so we are moving along. We have a general contractor and we're moving forward on that project, and that project is on schedule.
And let me just add to that, Amanda. It's also important to recognize it may seem counterintuitive right now with much of the airlines grounded, that why would someone want to pursue an aviation technician career? Well, for one, the industry prior to COVID was facing a major shortage of employees, driven in large part by the retirements happening in the industry, but also the growth in the industry. So right now, obviously, the industry is not growing, but as retirements continue to occur, they're going to need technicians, because even though the plane is grounded, it still needs to be serviced. If you're not turning up that plane every now and then, you're going to have problems trying to get it going in the forge. So technicians are just as important today as they ever have been. The other piece I want to recognize is this is about an 18-month training program. So unless something surprises us all, we should have a vaccine in place within that time frame so that the economy can start picking back up as we move through this current pandemic. So I think this is the time to invest in your education, not hold off on your education or sit it out. So that's the first point. And my last parting comment I want to add is there's no better way to acquire 21st century skills than to do it in real time in an actual environment in which it's happening. When you come to college or to university, you're getting the theoretical knowledge. Now you have the opportunity not only to get the theoretical knowledge, but the practical knowledge as part of this new reality. So please don't stay at home. Please don't wait to enter college or universities. Please take advantage of now to come to college, get your education, get that theory to practice, and you will go further and further ahead if you do that. So thank you, everybody.
Wonderful, wonderful. And with that, if there are no more questions from our audience, we would like to thank you so very much for spending time with us today, for learning more about how Pima Community College is being responsive and how we are open for fall and ready to train all of Pima County in our 21st century skills. So thank you all so very much for attending, and please reach out to us with any additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.